I have received a grant from Iaspis. Iaspis is a part of the Swedish Arts Grants Committee. It means that I have received 90,000 Swedish crowns and access to a studio for 6 months. As a grant holder, I have many advantages. For example, I have a ticket to the pre-opening of the annual art fair, organized by commercial art galleries. And in the premises where my studio is located, there is always a basket of fruit that I can take as much as I like from. In the premises lies also an exclusive archive, where prominent artists are represented. As a grant holder, I automatically become a part of the archive, and I can print unlimited amounts for free from the printer located there. It is said that curators visit the archive in their search for interesting artists. And on the Swedish Arts Grants Committee's homepage, you can even see the curator for this year's Venice Biennale pose outside the archive. My distinguishing mark as an artist is that I think critically. So I want to do a critical work about the grant and the hierarchies of the art world. But I don't know how. For weeks I sit in my studio and stare out the window. One day I have a meeting with a curator. The curator is established within the art world and has previously been a director for large art institutions. He looks at some of my artworks and calls them naive and pretentious. He says that good artists don't have time to think about boring things, like the hierarchies of the art world. Instead, they are busy devoting themselves to their art. He insinuates that I lack artistic ability and therefore spend my time criticizing a system that rewards talent, and that I have received the grant because I managed to manipulate and please the system a bit by criticizing it a little. After the meeting, I'm angry. I make several paintings. On one it says, "Fire snobbish curators from the art institutions. The only thing they can do is to build their own careers and suck up to the power and the capital." But I doubt I'm on the right track. The ability to express oneself in refined ways is what characterizes an artist. So I have to find a more clever way to channelize my frustration. And one day, when I'm taking a walk, my feet start to itch. Ants. That's exactly what I'm looking for, I think to myself. The perfect metaphor. After thinking a while, I know what to do. I start to collect 90,000 pine needles. Just as many as the number of Swedish crowns I get from the grant. With this action, I problematize the notion of work and the function of the grant. But one day, when I'm collecting pine needles, I look up towards the crowns of the surrounding trees and spot a bird nest. It turns out that there is a goosehawk nestling in it. I become obsessed by the goosehawk and forget my pine needle collecting. I spend almost all of my time near the nest. It's like the staring eyes of the goosehawk have hypnotized me. I start to take bird nests that I find in the surroundings because I experience that this action brings me closer to the goosehawk. But on one certain occasion, when I'm taking a bird nest, I see that among other things, it's made out of pine needles. And I remember my pine needle collecting. I realize that the goosehawk embodies the curator in nature, and that it has led me astray. The goosehawk sits high up in the trees and looks out over the surroundings with its sharp, staring eyes, deciding what should live and what should die. It has captivated me with its ruthless and dictatorial lifestyle, and even got me to plunder the homes of others. I have an important choice to make. Should I follow the egocentric and brutal goosehawk, or the diligent and cooperative ant? I choose the ant and return to my collecting of pine needles. Hopefully, my pine needles will be appreciated by the art world and generate more grants in the future, because I have really become addicted to fruit.